So we're approaching building 22, which is a machinery storage building. Was also used sometimes to house cattle when there would be a big dairy cattle show in the arena. And for a few years it was used as a smaller riding arena when we had the peak of our student numbers in the equine programs. I arrived in 1994. The only structure I saw built here in the years I worked here was a storage shed over at the Power and Equipment Center. The paint's faded a bit, but this one's probably from the 70s. I would say the arena and the horse barn and that hay barn and this were probably built all in the 70s or 80s. Whereas the old bull test station got new outside cladding. The one in the middle, in between, the skinnier one, that was a ram testing station. It's had some renovations because of the equine program. They put horse stalls in there. As you can see, the fading paint on the A.M. Bar Arena. Who was A.M. Bar? He was principal at the college. For the industrial welding and fabrication program, they used that parking lot. I guess these were a little overbuilt, but when we had College Royal for a weekend, there'd be a lot of cars down here. There used to be a whole series of wooden fenced paddocks from that point north of here and around to the east side of the arena for horses. They were turnout paddocks. Somebody was contracted to take down the old lumber just about 3 years ago. Something unique about this very plain looking building. This is a hay storage building for the horse barn adjacent to it. And the unique thing about it is there used to be a giant fan where these two little doors are. And there was a ventilation system to bring fresh, dry air throughout the bales of hay. But in the first few years after the campus was closed, this was rented out. A lot of this area was rented out to East Gen, which is a business up the road that maintains bulls and was keeping heifers for a separate program. And some of them were housed in here. And I think it was at that time they got rid of the hay storage idea and got rid of the drying fan. The last occupants of this were dairy heifers for some East Gen program. But before that, it was a very good hay storage building. So it was just for storing hay, but there was a system of channels to bring the air throughout the bulk of the hay stored in there. Keeping hay dry is important to prevent it from going moldy. So building 20, big number 20, small number 49 was the main horse barn. When I came in 94, it was the only horse barn. I forget now how many box stalls are right there, but they were typical 12 by 12 foot box stalls with sliding doors. It would be fully occupied with horses from September through April, and then the horses were usually borrowed or sometimes leased from horse owners around the province, and most of the horses would go home for the summer, although there'd often be between 1 and 4 horses owned by the college, and then someone would be hired to look after them for the summer. My wife became the technician for Dr. Merkes, who was an equine instructor and researcher. She came here when the degree program in equine studies started. And the wooden paddocks I was talking about, they continued all around here. And there was an outdoor riding arena to the southeast, which was used for some research at one point in human-horse interactions. I had an experimental crop of sorghum out in that field at one point. Didn't do as well as corn.